With your permission, this 6th parasha, Torah tells us the story about the golden calf. And after our made the golden calf, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, go downstairs and Chas Shalom, I want to get rid of Am Yisrael. And Moshe prays to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He tells HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Egyptian will say that you took them out of Egypt with a bad idea to kill them on the mountains. On the mountains. We are right now in the desert. In Sinai is only one mountain. Sinai, Har Sinai. And in the text we read, Moshe says, the Egyptians will say that you went out of your way, you took them out to kill them on the mountains. So when Talmud Uziel said, yes, mountains, 4 mountains. The first one is called Har Tavor. Har Tavor is a mountain not far from Tveria, in the Galil. The next one is Hermon. This is where people go skiing. The third one is like the second one. It's called Sirion. The Torah tells us several Dvarim that some people call the mountain Hermon Sirion. This really it's only 3. It's because the second and the third is the same. Nevertheless, when you read the text, in the text, so Moshe Rabbeinu said, 4 mountains. Hashem, you plan to kill him on 4 mountains. Tavor, Hermon, Sirion, and Sinai. Har Sinai. Har Sinai, I understand, I'm down Har Sinai right now. But what has to do with the other mountains? They are in Eretz Israel now. That Moshe said that you shouldn't say you want to kill them. But you kill them where? In Eretz Israel, in the Hermon. They didn't cross Eretz Israel yet. And then Moshe says to Hashem, look, Zechor, remember, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Israel, Avadecha. Remember Avraham, Yitzchak, and Israel, in Yaakov. What do you have to remember? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you what it is. Moshe says to Hashem, in case, they deserve a death. It's called Srifa, being burning. And remember, Avraham gave his life that voluntarily jumped into the fire. What does this mean exactly? So he did the golden calf. What is to do now with fire? What do you mean fire? It's nothing to do with fire. And Moshe continues. In case they deserve a death, what's called hereg, it's going to chop the head off. Remember, Yitzchak was ready to be slaughtered on Har Moriah, the time of Yitzchak. Please waive the Gezerah, Ram Israel, in case they deserve to die in that kind of a death. Again, what does it mean anything? The third one is even worse than the first 2. In case they deserve to go to exile, consider Yaakov Avinu, it went to Laban, went to exile. Excuse me. Now I cannot even own. They see me yawning now. Before I was free, I could yawn whenever I want. That's not nice, you know. See, you too, Sarah, is yawning. What is this to do with the golden calf now? That Yaakov went to exile. They deserve exile, but they don't deserve exile. How do they deserve exile? What does it mean deserve exile? Don't deserve exile. And then after Hashem heard it, what Moshe said, Torah says, "Vayinachem Hashem al hara shediber lasot la'amo." HaKadosh Baruch Hu so-called regretted. This is the story of the golden calf, and the Gemara tells us that constantly the hardship that people have, in a lifetime, percentage of the hardship is always golden calf. Always golden. Come Chachamim and tell us the following. What happened on the mountain Tavor? The mountain in the Tanakh. Let's see Tavor. What was there? So this was in the time of Deborah Neviah, the husband Barak. There was a guy, was a king, Yavin Melech Hatzor. He was a little bit up north, Lebanon. He drafted his army, and the chief of staff was Sisra. It was like half a giant. They're coming to destroy Israel completely. Hard of war. And then Deborah was a prophet, and she told her husband, go take some people, and Hashem is going to help us to overcome them. She says, this heart of war, the war took place. In that war, what happened on that war, the stars from Shamayim shot some kind of fire and burned. He says, why did you come? What happened? Why are these guys coming? Of course, everything is from a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But they must have done something that these guys coming. Now, since this, I'll tell you what happened. Am Israel at the time decided to do Brit Milah the way they wanted it. And Avraham Avinu was asked to command us to do Brit Milah. There are two parts in Brit Milah. First, the cut, and then it's called Priya. Do something else. They decided they're not going to do it. Since the Zohar, that triggered the HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent this bad king, Yavin Melech Hatzor, and his chief of staff, to take on Israel. In Teshuvah, because of Deborah Neviah, and here comes the Navi and tells us what happened. What happened was that her husband, Barak ben Avinuam, drafted some people, and Baruch Hashem, he won the war. How did he win the war? With fire. With fire. The stars shot fire, burned. Not only that, the Nabi says also that they swept them like you sweep an oven from the ashes. But Chachamim said that refers to Avraham Avinu. It means like this. And Hashem wanted to destroy Am Israel, Hashalom. Hashem did not tell Moshe Rabbeinu, right now I'm going to kill everybody. And he says, eventually. And he says, wait, in Sefer Shoftim, after Yeshua will die, and the Skinim will die, he's going to come a bad king, and he's going to do something to you. So what happened? The Brit Milah was given to Avraham Avinu with 13 treaties. The Gemara says, in a way, Brit Milah is more important than Torah. Hashem did not make so many treaties with Am Israel on the Torah as many as he made with them on the Brit Milah. The Gemara says Brit Milah is the biggest thing for Hashem. By not doing Brit Milah, so-called you broke the treaty between the HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Israel. And this is the so-called you lost the zechut of Avraham Avinu. And that, Moshe Rabbeinu is telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's true, it's true. I see in the future, in the video, it's going to be a war between Yavin Melech Hatzor, the guy from Lebanon, and his chief of staff. They're going to come, and then Navi describes how strong he was and how many people he had. Almost as many people as the Egyptian had by running after us. Even more, the Gemara says. As Moshe tells the listen, I want to ask you something. Do you remember? Avraham Avinu threw himself into the fire. That's the chut of Avraham Avinu threw himself into the fire. Saved them with fire. Saved them because at least they didn't have a Brit Milah, even though it's not called Brit Milah, they do the Shuv on it. So it means when Moshe Rabbeinu prays to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he doesn't pray for just present tense. for future tense. This is the power of Moshe Rabbeinu that knew what's going to happen. Actually, the Gemara says that Avraham Avinu also knew. Avinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so they asked, are you going to be sacrifices? What's going to be when it's going to be with no Bet HaMikdash? Avinu knew it's not Bet HaMikdash, and he's asking, please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what to give us an exit, that we should have something in our hand to be safe from gezerot, from decrees. And Hashem said, you know what? If there's no Bet HaMikdash, they should say the korbanot. By mouth, when you say, the Tari said it's so important in the morning, before Hodu to say all the korbanot, because this is like you're on Bet HaMikdash, and Bet HaMikdash has a kapara for you, the korbanot has a kapara for you by saying it. In your mouth, with your mouth, perfect. That's what Bet HaMikdash means. As soon as Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm going to Hashem to destroy Israel, he said, well, Moshe said, I see what you mean. I see the first thing I see, what you see is Tabor. I said, what is this mountain? Where is this mountain? Where is this? This is the mountain that this guy started to attack on Israel. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu mentioned Abraham's name. He said, look, b'zchut Avraham Avinu, that's why, therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu so-called burned them. That's what the Navi tells us. How did you win this guy? The guy was a half a giant. Description of the guy was very strong. It was a very strong army. Never lost a war. What happened? How did he lose? This guy Barak had no army, 10,000 people, nothing. The guy had hundreds of thousands of soldiers. What happened? Fire came from Shemaim, burn it. Burn them. It says, B'zchut Avraham Avinu. The second one, and the third, it's called Hermon and Sirion. I said, that's the secret of Yaakov Avinu. So what is the secret of Yaakov Avinu? Once the Hermon and Sirion, it's the same mountain. It's all the way up north. But this was and is on the territory of Og Melech HaBashan. It was a giant, the only giant that was left from all the giants that we had. He went and became a king on the east side of the Jordan River. This is the place that half of the tribe of Menashe is going to live. He took the place from Moab, Ammon, and he's the king. Torah tells us, in Sefer Dvarim, the border of that king is Hermon. You find in Torah the first time the word Hermon, I think it's the first time, when the Torah describes what happened all the way on the east side of the Jordan River, all the way up north. Torah tells us locally this is the territory of Og Melech HaBashan, and this guy Og Melech HaBashan, he was the king over there, and in east territory this mountain Hermon. And then the Torah says, well, some people call it Sirion, and this is his territory. The Torah tells us a story that Moshe was very scared of him. Very scared. And Moshe is very scared of him. What happened? Well, the Gemara says, well, this guy, Og Melech HaBashan, notified Avraham Avinu that his brother-in-law, his nephew, Lot, was kidnapped in a war. And therefore Avraham Avinu went and drafted Eliezer to go and get this Mr. Lot. So the Gemara says, well, Moshe Rabbeinu is afraid of him. This guy is very old, by the way. He survived the flood, the Mabul. He swam next to the Teva. And Noach came out of the Teva, all sweating up, working so hard in the Teva with his children. He sees the giant over there on the dry land. Asking him, what happened with you? I said, nothing. I swam the whole time. Actually, Chachamim say Noach also gave him food from the Teva, threw him food from the window. I said, what is this power of this guy? What is this power? But I said, well, he has no power right now. Well, he is one of the angels, the angels' descendants that fell from Shemaim in time of the Mabul. This is Mr. Og Melech HaBashan. Okay, fine. So Moshe is scared of him. So Moshe is, why are you scared of him? Well, he's the king over there now on that territory. Oh, what's that territory exactly? The Torah tells us that territory is a land that was promised to Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, when he was 70 years old, the Kadosh Baruch Hu came over to him and told him, you know, your children will inherit 10 nations. And part of those nations were taken away from Avraham Avinu, because Avraham Avinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu a question. Bama yada ki rashena. Hashem took it away. That part that Og Melech Bashan is the king right now, he took it away from Moab. That Moab got it because Hashem granted Lot with that, because Lot kept his mouth shut. Because Avraham Avinu did not keep his mouth shut, he lost it. He lost it to Lot. And that guy is the king over there. And it's a secret that Moshe Rabbeinu is very afraid of him. And I said, why afraid of him? Because he wants you to overcome him. Because he has so-called the right to stay wherever he stays, because we lost this part of the land that Hashem promised Avraham Avinu, because Avraham Avinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu his question, should not have asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the place called Hermon. Hermon, he lives over there. Og lives over there. Moshe Rabbeinu has to chase him out. And the Torah emphasizes that Moshe is afraid of him. And then I can quote Moshe Rabbeinu, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. We'll see soon why not be afraid. And then the Torah describes, Moshe describes, that at the end we were able to overcome him and we took the Hermon away from him. So when Rabbeinu said, I want to explain to you something. Israel is out of Egypt. Perfect. Where are they now? They're at the border of this guy, Og Melech Bashan. And Moshe is scared. Moshe is scared. Says, why are you scared, Moshe? Because that man has the right to stay over there. And Hashem wants me to go around it. And I'm afraid of him. How come nothing happened? Because Moshe prayed over here. He told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zechor, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yisrael avadecha. Yaakov Avinu, but Moshe says the word Israel. I said, this, by the way, this is when we read on Tanit Tzibur at the time, that paragraph. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu regretted, because Moshe asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, remember. What to remember? Remember Yaakov Avinu. What do you remember about Yaakov? So the Gemara tells a story, it says in a Navi like this. Navi says, Navi Yirmiyahu, you read the text, in the text it says, that Hashem told Yirmiyahu Navi, right? No Mashiach. I'm fed up. It's after the destruction of first Beit HaMikdash. The last descendant of David HaMelech was a king. His name was Yehoiachin. Yehoiachin. He was in jail in Iraq. And since nobody behaved, a so-called Messiah, Hashem gave up. And Hashem said, no more Mashiach. This is the last sentence. If he dies, no Mashiach. And Hashem told David HaMelech, Mashiach has to come from you. Not from you, no Mashiach. Nevertheless, later on, he says in the book, that this guy Yehonia had a child. Eventually, his grandson is going to be Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel. He's going to be the king in second Beit HaMikdash. And from him, we have all those people that are descendants of David HaMelech. So how did the descendants of David HaMelech? It says in the Navi that Hashem told him, right, I swear, no Mashiach. Says the Gemara, well, how can it be? Hashem swore. And it says in the Tanakh. And then so-called Hashem changed his mind. But Hashem swore. So the Gemara says, I tell you what happened. Gemara says you should know, exile is the biggest kapara. The person leaves this place and he feels as a stranger, that's the biggest kapara. Since the last descendants of David HaMelech, the king Yehonia, is in jail, this is very hard, so-called exile. Hashem said, forget what I said. Even though it says in the Tanakh, and the Navi in the text says, no Mashiach, Hashem changed it. Because exile. It's the biggest thing a person should always feel is in exile. It shouldn't feel permanent any place. I says, where are you? I'm in exile. I'm in exile. To feel it that you're in exile. That's the kapara. Gemara tells us that one of the Chachamim, Rabbah, was a drought. and he did something he shouldn't have done. So-called, he pushed him and said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give rain. He went to sleep at night. Says the Gemara, his father came to him in a dream and says, get out of bed. Go move in another bed. Okay, so he moved. In the morning, he goes back to his bed. He sees that his sheet is cut, like somebody cut it with a knife. Says the Gemara, what happened? Who cut his sheet with a knife? Gemara says, Shedim came to kill him. And they had a mistake. It's hard to believe, to understand exactly what happened, but they thought he's in the bed. Or maybe they knew and they had mercy on him, so they cut the sheet to tell him you should deserve death penalty. But because you move out from your bed and move to another bed, it's called exile. Exile is kapara. If a person needs kapara, the best thing is he should move. He should not feel that he is permanent. Move out of your bed, move out of your seat, change your seat. Let's kapara. Let's the Gemara says Yaakov Avinu, he went to Lavan's house. It's true, he had to run away because he did something maybe not 100% to, should I say it, not proper. He cheated Esau. The Zohar has a complaint about Yaakov Avinu, what he did. But he went to Lavan's house. He says, kapara, you read the Torah. And all of a sudden, Yaakov is going back. Hashem tells Yaakov, go back. Don't worry about Esau. Don't worry about Esau. Don't worry about Esau. What? I can mean don't worry about Esau. Esau is waiting for him. You're not going to do nothing to him. Why? Because he was in exile. Exile is kapara. Even if he did something, it's kapara. Let's not Hashem tells Moshe, I'm going to finish up Yisrael Chas Shalom. Moshe said, oh, I know what you mean. You mean Hermon. You mean that spot over there. That spot over there up north on the eastern side of the Jordan River, is going to be over there one time a war in Hermon with Og Melech Habasham, with this giant, and Chas Shalom, Og Melech Habasham is a giant, and everybody was scared of him. But Moshe Rabbeinu, remember Yaakov. Remember Yaakov went to exile. Excuse me, that exile should be a kapara for Israel, of course, they Shuvah, but avoid so-called this decree to kill them. And then the next one, now we are at Har Sinai. We are at Har Sinai. Torah tells us a story. And Moshe came down from the mountain. He broke the tablets. He saw what's going on. And he said, who is for Hashem? And Shevet Levi came forward. Moshe told Shevet Levi, go take your sword and kill whoever participated in the golden calf. But the Gemara tells us, you know, there are 4 kinds of deaths. One is called stoning. You stone a person, you throw him up from the 2nd floor, and if he didn't die, you throw a stone on him. It's called skila. This is to correct the letter Yud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The second one, the Gemara is called srefa, burning. They open up the guy's mouth, and then they throw hot lead inside him. They don't burn his body. It's just the inside organ gets burned and dies. It's called srefa. The next one is called hereg. They chop his head off. Also not exactly, something very similar, chopping. And the 4th one is chenek. They choke him. On Avodah Zarah, the punishment is skila. Somebody does Avodah Zarah, they stone him. Golden calf was Avodah Zarah. They bowed down to it, they kissed it, they said, this is our God. Of course, in the beginning, they didn't mean that, but eventually, after the Erev Rav started the whole thing, says the Gemara, Am Yisrael join it. And it's Avodah Zarah. It's called golden calf. The Gemara even blames us that all the Avodah Zarah in the world later on is because we so-called made it by saying, this is our God. We gave power to the Avodah Zarah, says the Gemara. The Gemara blames us. It says, you Jewish people, you are to be blamed because you made the golden calf and you under Har Sinai and you just heard the 10 Commandments 40 days ago and you're saying, this is our God? Who? What? A golden calf, you give power to all the Avodah Zarah, and all the Avodah Zarah that you read the Tanakh and Nevi'im later on until today, it says, who is responsible? We are responsible. Okay. Avodah Zarah, the death penalty is skila, not chopping a head. Chopping a head is really in the Torah, is only for two things. If you kill somebody, it's called, the punishment is they chop your head off. Or if somebody goes and he tempted people to do Avodah Zarah, it's called Irani Dochat, Mesitu Mediach. Only two examples for that, this kind of a death. Here comes the Torah. Moshe comes and tells us, who belongs to Hashem, come forward. And Shevet Levi comes, and Moshe says, take your sword. Whoever participated in Avodah Zarah, chop his head off. And the Torah says they did, they went, and they killed 3,000 people. I said, that's not the right penalty. It's not the right punishment, I'm sorry. That's not the right punishment. Punishment should be stoned. Moshe said, whoever did Avodah Zarah, you stone him, or you throw him off the second floor. How did he go to that kind of death? That kind of death is only if you kill somebody. Or, as again, if you tempt somebody to do Avodah Zarah, it's called Mensitu Mendiach. Let me tell us like this. What is really, if you think about it, the golden calf? What's the problem exactly? Why Hashem was so upset? He was upset because really, it's a joke. It's a joke. When somebody goes, comes home, he has a picture of somebody in his pocket, and he tells his father, see, this is my father. My father said, this is the guy's your father? Where'd you get it? He said, I just got this picture in the store. So the father's angry at the son. That's stupidity. That's stupidity. Hashem is very furious. It's true. It's true. It's not nice. It's not ethical. Under, our Sinai say, this is our God. But if you think about it, because our Father, this is stupidity. It's stupidity. He didn't do anything. He said, this is God. Hashem said, yes, this is God. Okay, this is your God. If I would be Hashem, I said, this is your God. Good. Let him give you man. Let him give you water. Let him take you to Israel. Okay, fine. Follow him. Hashem is furious. What's the secret behind it? Aaron made the golden calf. Says the Gemara, what do you think Aaron made the golden calf? Why? Why did he make the golden calf? Why Aaron should have stood firm. And let me say, listen, stop the nonsense. Moshe is coming tomorrow morning. I said to Moshe, listen, we need somebody immediately. Aaron should have said, listen, I'm not doing nothing. Come tomorrow morning. Wait. Says the Gemara, you know what happened? Aaron's nephew, was Moshe's nephew, Miriam's son, his name was Hor. He stood by when he heard this commotion. The Am Yisrael screaming at Aaron. He went up forward. He said, stop it. What's wrong with you people? Have respect for Aaron HaKohen. Aaron, he's a Navi. Why are you screaming at him? What's wrong with you people? So few people went and killed him. He's on the floor. He's on the floor dead. Says the Gemara, Aaron had Ruach Kodesh. And the Gemara says that Aaron knew he's the next one. If you want to listen to them, they'll kill him. So, let them kill him. It says the Gemara, no. When Yimach Shimon Nebuzaradan, the chief of staff of Nebuchadnezzar, entered Bet HaMikdash, he saw blood on the floor. The whole floor is clean. In the center of the floor is blood. And the blood is boiling. He asked the Kohanim, what is this? I said, we don't know. He said, you don't know? I'll show you how you know. He started to kill them. Kohanim stood by. He's killing thousands of Kohanim. One after the other, this murderer. And then they were embarrassed to tell him. Then he said, if you don't tell me, I'm going to kill all of Israel here on this blood. And he killed people next to the blood, pour the blood on that blood. And then they told him, This was a guy, his name was Zechariah, a Kohen and Navi. On Yom Kippur, he gave us Musa, and somebody took a stone and killed him. Killed him on Yom Kippur in Bet HaMikdash. This is his blood. And the Gemara says that Machshon was spoke to the blood. Can you imagine the blood was alive? It tells the blood, listen, if you don't go right now in the ground, I'm going to slaughter all of Israel in your blood. At that moment, the blood sank in the floor of Bet HaMikdash. Says the Gemara that Aaron HaKohen, when he saw his nephew on the floor dead, and says, this guy nephew, he was a Navi. Was a young, fairly young person, was a Navi. And they killed him. Says the Gemara, I don't know if they're going to kill him, that he is the Kohen, then Hashem is going to destroy all of Israel. And therefore, says the Gemara, he made the golden calf. He didn't even actually make it. He didn't actually make it. He didn't make it. But it came out. Why he didn't just scream at Israel, postpone everything, and says, stop the nonsense. I'm not doing anything for them. I said, if they're going to kill me, there's no more Am Israel. So it's so-called on Kiddush Hashem. That nothing will happen to Am Israel. He said, okay, he didn't know it's going to jump. He didn't know it's going to eat grass. He didn't know that Am Israel is going to bow down to it. But just to postpone the whole episode, he says, in order to save Am Israel, I said, because if they would have killed him, we would not be here today. I said, so the whole, if you now start thinking about it. The whole golden calf. Hashem said, every time that you have any problem in your life, it's because golden calf. I said, what's golden calf? You think it's Avodah Zarah? No, it's not Avodah Zarah. It's true, we're responsible. But what is really the root? Lack of Musa we didn't want to hear Musa. That's why we killed who? Because he gave us Musa. That's why Bet HaMikdash was so-called wasn't destroyed because of that. Therefore, the Gemara tells us, when this Mashman Zardan came to Bet HaMikdash, he killed hundreds of thousands of people on the blood of Zechariah, Kohen, that gave Musa to Am Israel on Yom Kippur. It says that caused that he killed hundreds of thousands of people besides all the other damage that he did. And therefore, Moshe comes down from Shamayim. He asks, who is for Hashem? Shevet Levi came forward. Moshe said, you know what? Take the sword. Sword? Why sword? It's Avodah Zarah. Not supposed to kill them with the sword. It's supposed to stone them. The punishment for Avodah Zarah is stoning. The punishment, killing, is only if you kill somebody. You know the golden calf? What's the root? He didn't go do Avodah Zarah. He did Avodah Zarah because Aaron HaKohen, it means to be a Kohen, at the time Aaron was not a Kohen yet, because Aaron agreed for their demand to do something. I said, why did Aaron agree? Because I was afraid they're going to kill Aaron. Why afraid they're going to kill Aaron? Because already they killed who? Because already somebody's on the floor there. So the whole dog of the golden calf started and ended because somebody killed somebody. And therefore, Moshe tells Israel, Hashem told me. Moshe says, Hashem told me, take your sword. Hashem told you. The Rishonim ask, Hashem told him? Doesn't say in the Torah, Hashem told him. Where does Hashem tell him? Where does Hashem tell him? Say, well, some Rishonim say, some Achonim say, well, it means Hashem doesn't say in the Torah everything it should be. He says, listen, Hashem did not tell Moshe, go take a sword. If Hashem would have told Moshe, he would have told Moshe, go tell them to stone the people at Avodah Zarah. Because Avodah Zarah's punishment is stoning. Why did Moshe say Hashem told him? Hashem didn't tell him now. Hashem told me already before the Alchot in Shamayim. As in Shamayim, Hashem told me something. If somebody kills somebody, you kill him. I said, this is the golden calf. No, the golden calf is the result. The problem over here is you killed this guy, Mr. Hu. And the problem is if Aaron would not have listened to you, you'd have killed Aaron as well. So that's Sinai. That's what Moshe is praying to Hashem. Hashem said, I want to kill everybody. He said, Hashem, why do you want to kill him? Because he did the golden calf? Yeah, it's true. But that's not the reason. The reason is because they killed somebody. And that's what Moshe says, the whole Abraham leItzchak. Remember, Yitzchak Avinu gave his neck